You're watching 360 Streamers. My name is Mick, and I'm here to demo to you the Lanparte LA3D-VR-01. It's a new gimbal made for 360 cameras, and it's not the first one, but the LA3D-VR-01 has a unique design that differentiates it from other 360 gimbals. So what makes it different is that the LA3D-VR-01 has puts the motors for the yaw, the pitch, and the roll within the stitch line of the 360 camera. That is, assuming your 360 camera is wide enough. So here, for example, I'm using the Garmin Verb 360, which has its own stabilization, but I'm not using it for this video. Instead, I'm using the stabilization from the LA3D-VR-01. So other 360 cameras that could work are the Nikon Key Mission and the original Samsung Gear 360. So if you use a 360 camera that's sufficiently wide or thick, then if you look around, you will see that the gimbal is pretty much invisible. Like, check it out right now. So here's a sample from the Nikon Key Mission 360. If you look around, you can see that the gimbal is pretty much invisible. The next samples from the 2016 Gear 360, the original version. As you can see, it's pretty clean. You can't see the gimbal except when the gimbal is not vertical. Now here's a sample from the 2017 Gear 360. It's an example of what happens when the camera is too thin. So you can see the motor from the Lanparte gimbal, but this is not worse than other gimbals. And as you saw, if you use a wider 360 camera, the gimbal is invisible. So that's the key selling point of the LA3D-VR-01. Now it has other advantages. For example, it doesn't have a counterweight, so it's easier to set it up. You don't have to balance it or anything. You can just attach a camera and it's ready to go. Also, because there's no counterweight, it's much lighter than the other gimbals. Now, in terms of disadvantages, there are a few. For example, because there's no counterweight, then it cannot support heavier 360 cameras such as the Kodak SP360 4K Dual Pro. Another issue is that the yaw is limited. So I'm going to lock the gimbal in all lock mode, and if I turn too much, it's going to hit the limit and deactivate. Now here's the other limit. So this is just something that you need to be mindful of. So because of this limit, I prefer to keep the gimbal in 2-axis lock mode, and the way you do that is by clicking on the mode button twice, and when you do that, the button will turn red, and in this mode the gimbal will follow the yaw of the handle. So if I turn it, it's gonna follow the turn and dampen the movement a bit so it's smooth, but the pitch and the roll are stabilized. So in this mode, hopefully you won't run into the limit for yaw movement. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to buy the LA3D-VR-01, you can buy it in the link in the description below. Thanks very much, and if you'd like more information about 360 cameras and 360 camera accessories, please subscribe. Thanks very much.